Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, Wind Data Management, an overview of AWS Truepower's tools for securely and conveniently managing all your meteorological tower data. My name is Anna Caban and I am the moderator for today's event. But before we begin, I wanted to address some housekeeping items before we start the webinar. First of all, this webinar will be recorded in listen-only mode. It should last roughly 25 to 30 minutes, followed by a question and answer period. We ask that if you have a question during the slideshow presentation that you please type it in the questions box located in your GoToMeeting panel. After the webinar is over, we will be sending out a recording of the presentation and the slide deck in an email. Today's webinar will cover highlights of the Wind Data Management tool. We will cover topics about the Wind Data Management dashboard, including how to manage your data, a review of reports, what data is available, and raw and QC data. Today's moderators for the event are Senior Account Manager Courtney Timmons and Senior Meteorologist Leslie Susina. Without further ado, I'd like to turn the recording over to you, Courtney.
Hi, Anna. Thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you to all of our participants today. We're really excited to bring you our Wind Data Management dashboard. So we'll jump right into it. What does the Wind Data Management dashboard do? What it does is it monitors and screens the Met Tower data collected from your Met Tower monitoring campaigns. What we want to do is we want to make sure that your monitoring campaigns are operating exactly the way they should be and that they're collecting high-quality data that can then be used in the bankable reports that will be done later on in the monitoring campaign and development process. The system also provides an interactive platform for data evaluation. The system also consolidates your data, commissioning forms, and monthly system reports in a secure web-based interface. You want to have all that information stored in one place that can be accessed anywhere you are that has an internet connection. We want to make sure that it's easily accessible, and like I said, it's all in one place, and you don't have to go through trying to find all of that information when it comes time to do that bankable report. So what can the Wind Data Management dashboard do for you? Specifically, it can save you analysts time. Instead of having to screen and collect that data as it comes in on a continual basis, you can rely on AWS Truepower to do that work for you. Your analysts can spend their time doing more important things that need to be done on the product development. The system can also ensure that failed sensors are identified. And quite often we see that screening the data coming in on the Met Towers is a little bit lower on the priority list of things to do. So by having AWS Truepower do this work for you, you can ensure that any failed sensors are quickly identified and can be corrected if needed. The system can also improve analysis turnaround time. Because we are more familiar with your Met campaign and we're already familiar with the data, that saves us time on our end and allows us to more quickly complete any analyses or bankable reports that are required on the back end. Saves you time, also saves a little bit of money as well. Gives you more time to work with those results on your end. Additionally, the system can help you reduce your uncertainty. Because we do those bankable reports, we know exactly what sort of implications can happen on the monitoring campaign that will affect the accuracy and uncertainty that goes into that final bankable report. So as failures do occur on your monitoring campaigns, which inevitably they will, we can come in and let you know exactly how that's going to impact the final bankable report, and you can incorporate those recommendations into subsequent next steps. So how does the system work? As your Met Tower sends data into the AWS Truepower email address, the system then ingests that data. The data is compiled and then screened for any sensor failures. The raw data, the compiled data, and screen data is all made available through your online interface, and then every month a project data summary report is developed and posted to the system. What we've done here is we've created a system that automatically screens and collects your Met Tower data. And what that does is, because we've automated this process, we can drive down costs on our end, which makes the system very affordable. But at the same time, an experienced AWS Truepower meteorologist is monitoring the process. So you're getting the best of both worlds with this system. You've got an automated routine that keeps costs down, but you still have a high-quality service because you've got AWS Truepower experience monitoring your monitoring campaigns. So is the data secure? We put in place standard security measures for online data applications. We have both electronic and physical security measures in place. Access to the data is limited to individual accounts by our secure login system. We have redundant switches, firewalls, and power systems in place, so if any of those components go down, we have a backup that's ready to go. The data is also stored in mirrored data centers at separate locations. So if something were to happen to the data at one of our locations, we will have a completely separate backup system that we can bring online. What we want to do is we want to ensure that we can protect the confidentiality of your data as well as prevent any data loss. So without any further discussion about what the system is, I'll turn it over to Leslie, and she'll show us the system and how it works.
Great, thanks, Courtney. I'll just jump right in. Once you've logged into the AWS Truepower Dashboard Suite web interface, you'll click up top on the Wind Data Management tab. And the first view that you'll see is what we call the portfolio view, which allows you to easily view the geographic distribution of all projects within your fleet. Geographically, each of these wind socks here represents a project, and all projects are overlaid on our 80-meter wind resource map at a 2-kilometer resolution. In the left panel, we provide a listing of each of the projects within your fleet with quick and dirty details about each of the projects, the centroid location of all masts, number of masts within the project area, as well as quick links to view project summary details and project deliverables. Across the top of this screen is your navigation bar. And navigation bar is really just there, again, a quick and easy way to navigate from page to page within the Wind Data Management Dashboard tab. The left panel in the top navigation bar will remain within your screen and within your tab no matter what page you navigate to within the Wind Data Management Dashboard. It allows easy access to switch back and forth between different projects to see similar characteristics across your fleet. You can zoom into any of the wind socks, which represents a project area, and once you get into a certain resolution, you'll notice the mast locations pop out. While the wind sock that we show you here is just a general centroid of the project area, the mast locations plotted are actual mast locations, so you can see the real distribution of the mast within the project. Some features once you're at this level is you can toggle off the wind maps, and you can put on different layers such as satellite layers, map layers, or terrain layers to give you a little bit better idea of what the elevation or land cover characteristics are around each of the mast locations. The next view from here would be to get a few more details about either the masts themselves or the project itself. You can click on each of the mast IDs to go directly into a mast summary page, or you can click right on the project wind sock to get just a little overview of the project summary. We'll start first there. And up appears your just a quick overview of the mast. Some details that we provide here are all the towers that are within that project area, location of those towers and elevation of each, the period of record we have within the system to date, as well as the last time that the logger has called into our system. Down at the bottom, we have a few images to display. It's data recovery and wind speed plots for each mast within that project area over the last 30 days. This allows you easy access to see how the masts track each other throughout time. A main feature of the project summary page would be a general overview of the tower health of each tower within that project. You'd want to focus on this latest status column to the right-hand side of the screen. Some of the statuses that you'll see would be a status of operational, which indicates that the tower, the logger, and all instrumentation on the tower are operational, full health, no issues to acknowledge. A needs attention status will be indicated if something on the tower is not up to par. Some situations we could have are if there's a sensor failure, if there's an apparent logger failure, or if your logger simply isn't calling in, then we would indicate a needs attention status, and you could delve into this mast further to get some more details. A third status that you can have is a decommissioned tower status. Even if the tower has been removed and is no longer within the project site, we'll leave the tower up on the project summary page so that you can have the most accurate portrayal of the monitoring campaign within each project. The next view we'll take a look at is the individual mast summary view. In this case, we'll step into mast B to see if we can determine what the needs attention status has come from. This page allows quick and instant access to statistics based on the sensors at this tower individually. To go through it, we'll start at the top left corner. The top box here represents just wind speed statistics. Some examples that we provide are the mean wind speed, data recovery, turbulence intensities, and prevailing wind directions. By default, the page opens up to display statistics and figures for the last 30 days of available data that we have at the tower. However, simply clicking out from the Define Time Period button, you can choose whatever date range you'd want to look at, whether it's the full period of record, the last 60 days, the last 2 years, whatever we have available. Additionally, for a quick look, you can click on the last day, 7 days, or again, the last 30 days of data at each tower to see what's happening. Within your right panel, we provide a graphical representation of many of the statistics we provide in the top left corner. By clicking on the images, they enlarge with easily print views. As you click back and forth, we give the wind rows, we give diurnal average speeds, daily average speeds, and data recoveries, as well as frequency distributions. Moving over to the lower left box, it allows you the option to choose to display the statistics based on any sensor on the tower. At this point, we're showing the wind speed statistics based on the 32-meter anemometer on the southeast facing boom. If instead we'd like to take a look at what's the 57-meter wind speed on the west facing boom, you would simply toggle on that anemometer and all statistics update accordingly. In addition to be able to choosing statistics for any sensor you'd like to see, you can also change the shear level. In this case, it's showing the shear between the 57 and the 32-meter southeast facing anemometers. If you'd rather see a smaller level, you can choose the 57-meter southeast anemometer and the shear value updates accordingly. Getting back into the mast status of needs attention, the first place to look when trying to discover what's happening with the tower would be the lower left corner, the sensor status section. Each sensor on the tower has an associated status with it. A green check mark indicates that the sensor is operational and fully functioning, whereas a red X indicates the sensor has failed and is malfunctioning and requires attention. In this case, you'll see that the 53-meter wind vane is the sensor requiring attention. To get any other details about any of the sensors on the tower or subsequent failures and replacements, you can simply click on the sensor status and an event log appears. In the case of the 53-meter wind vane, you'll see that the sensor failure happened on August 21st, 2011 and has never been replaced since then. In addition to screening the data, we like to provide you with visual displays of the data. And additionally, with that, we would like to provide the data for download as well. To get to the downloadable data, you simply have to click on the Deliverables tab, which is available from any tab within the Wind Data Management dashboard. From this page, the data we offer is raw data files, which are in the case of a Symphony logger, the .rwd files. These are the files that are sent directly from your logger to our internal system. We also provide the compiled data files, which are data that has been converted from its raw format into actual wind speed, direction, temperature data, whatever sensors that you have on the tower. We also provide screen data files, which will be the average and standard deviation values of each sensor on the tower, as well as a flag column with the appropriate QC flag input. We provide monthly reports, which are automatically generated, instantly downloadable reports, useful for providing overview stats of the projects and masts for each calendar month. We also provide mast documentation, including commissioning forms, maintenance forms, calibration reports, any site photos that we've been provided, pretty much anything that pertains to the mast itself we can put into the mast documentation page. Looking through the deliverables tab, we have a couple of different filter options to help get exactly what you need. You can filter on and off by project or by mast. You can filter by date, and you can also filter by deliverable type. As far as the monthly reports, single monthly reports are created for each project with all mast summaries displayed within each. We'll quickly step through just one example of a monthly report. Your main page you come up to is simply a cover page, project name. It'll give you the month and year that it's valid for. Once we get into the executive summary, you'll get a general statistics of the range of wind speeds and data recoveries at all masts within that project. You'll also get overviews of the period of record available at each of those masts within that project and the status of the tower at that time. As you move further into the report, you'll next get into the individual mast summaries. The first page for each mast is a statistical page, wind speed, direction, data recovery for each sensor on the tower, as well as the sensor health and operational status. If you have failures on the tower at this point, we'll give details at the bottom of the report of when the failure happened and what we think occurred. The second page for each mast is a graphical representation of a lot of the same statistics over the last 30, 31, or 28 days, depending on what month you're in. And again, as you just move forward through the report, you get the same statistics over the next mast and the third mast, and so on. If it's data downloads that you're interested in, you would just click on the Data Deliverables tab. And here we have access to the raw, compiled, or screened data. By default, this page will default to download data for the entire period of record. However, we give you the option to choose any time frame that you wish to see. You can choose which type of data deliverable you want to have compiled and downloaded simply by clicking the box next to each one. In this case, I have chosen to download the raw, compiled, and screened data. Once you've made all the choices of the data you want, you simply have to click on this link called Create Bundle, name your bundle, and simply Create Bundle. At that point, the system compiles the data that is needed for you, and once it's ready to be downloaded, you'll receive an email with a link to the data. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Courtney, and we'll move on.
Thank you very much, Leslie, for that overview of the system. So again, just to recap on the wind data management dashboard, what it can do is it'll save you time. You won't have to have your people or you yourself analyzing that data as it comes in. You can depend on AWS Truepower and our automated systems to do that work for you. And because those systems are automated, we can keep the service pretty affordable. Again, best of both worlds. You've got automated Met Tower management that's overseen by experienced AWS Truepower meteorologists. The system will help ensure that failed sensors are quickly identified, reducing any uncertainty associated with your project campaigns. And we can also reduce the turnaround time on your subsequent analyses. Because we are more familiar with the monitoring campaign, we can reduce turnaround times on unbankable reports by as much as 2 weeks. So with that, we'll turn it back over to Anna, our moderator, who I think has a few questions for us.
Thank you, Courtney, and thank you, Leslie. Right now, we wanted to turn this part of the webinar over to the Q&A. It looks as though we have a couple questions in queue from during the webinar. This first question I believe should go to Leslie. It is, how is my raw tower data QC'd? Yep, no problem. I can handle that, Anna. Once your tower calls into the system, AWS Truepower internally has developed some QC routines that use a series of relational and trend tests that automatically add in flags for tower shadow, icing, and sensor failures.
If your data is calling in on a daily basis, then we'll be able to get that data as soon as it calls into the tower or calls into our system. It's immediately dropped into the system, and within an hour or two, your data should be available, QC'd, and ready to go for the rest of the analysis.
Okay, this question I think Courtney could answer here. What happens if I have a sensor failure?
So if a sensor failure occurs on your tower, we'll see it through the data. So when the data comes into to AWS Truepower and hits our system, the system will identify that something's wrong with the data and flag it to an AWS Truepower meteorologist. That meteorologist will then go in and confirm what that sensor failure is, try to evaluate what happened, and then compile some recommendations on what to do next. From there, your AWS Truepower representative that you're working with will reach out to you, let you know that a sensor failure occurred, what we think might have happened, and what recommendations we have for you moving forward.
Okay, thank you. This question is pertaining to reports. This person is asking, do you offer reports for other periods of record other than monthly? I think they're referring there to the monthly reports that you were showing on the screen.
Yeah, I can handle this one, Anna. Right now, the system is set up to automatically generate reports only on a monthly basis. But the nice thing and the great thing about the system is that all of your tower data is in-house here, and you have analysts that are well aware of what's happening. So we're able to customize monthly reports for any time frame, whether it be 6 months and annual, quickly and efficiently. And the best way to get those reports would be to contact your AWS Truepower representative, and we can confirm more details of what you're looking for and what the typical turnaround time would be.
Great, thank you. Okay, Courtney, this person is asking, what if I have back data that was previously collected?
Sure, yeah. If you've got towers that are already collecting data and you've got some data already amassed, what we can do is if you provide us with that data, what we'll do is ingest it into the system, and then you'll have all of your back data on the system as well as the data that's actively being collected. The idea is to have all of your data, all your tower commissioning information in one secure place that's accessible anywhere online.
Great. Thank you very much. That about wraps it up for today. There may be a few other lingering questions we have here, but we'll be sure to follow up with you after the webinar is over in an email. If you have any questions for us, you can find Courtney's contact information on the slide listed here. Again, I would like to remind you that we will be sending out a link to the webinar recording and the slide deck in the following days. If you have any questions or want to get in touch with your AWS Truepower representative to talk more about the wind data management dashboard, please feel free to do so. You can email us at info@awstruepower.com. This concludes today's event, and we thank you for your attention.